Hello and welcome to the Panelists, the panel show where four selfless experts in all things quizzical solve problems that are both vexatious and onerous, and answer questions that manage to be both bothersome and yet still mildly jellied, all for no prize or accolades because we do it for the pure and virtuous reason of getting paid to do this recording session. FYI, you billed this as a half day of recording on your invoices. Joining me this week is Team Numerous Adult Sons.
We are unbounded, but large.
And Team Rippin' Gas.
It's a triple entendre.
Wait, what's the third one?
It's a surprise.
That's disgusting. Also, please take off your sunglasses so the viewers can see your beautiful question-solving eyes.
Okay.
Aside from getting paid, I have some more good news for you. So good news! You are the new owner of the formerly mythological and now very real Caballari chariot, forged by Hephaestus himself in the finest brass and iron, which was a big a deal and a little bit more impressive when he made it. But your sick whip is pulled by a set of magically forged automaton horses that breathe fire and can do 0 to 60 in about as long as they feel like taking to do it, I suppose. Anyhow, this is a classic vehicle, so it does lack several modern conveniences. So do you add a seatbelt or a bitchin' stereo?
But seriously, safety first.
Yeah.
You come from a land of ice and snow and content ID, hopefully not.
You don't sit while piloting a chariot.
Yeah, you stand.
Right. And you rock out to what I'm assuming is going to be lowrider.
So you're adding a stereo then?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really hard. I imagine the acoustics are very strange, but you could probably mount a speaker in the back half of one of the automaton horses.
Yeah.
Hey kids, you know what's not cool? Brain injuries.
Mm-hmm. You can make your own sick tunes, as Alex and I have both very skillfully demonstrated, but you can't bring your brain back after you fall out of your chariot.
I'm not sure we're going to fall out, because it's a chariot, for one thing, being pulled by horses. How many horses? 4. How fast could 4 horses run? That's 4 horsepower. And I've driven cars that are faster than that and are still slow enough not to kill me.
The other thing about vehicles, it's not just you. You share the road with other people. What if somebody hits you and you fall out, smacking your head into your stereo system?
This isn't a Pontiac. This is a divinely forged engine of war. I mean, it's going to crumple anything out there like it's made out of tinfoil.
If you see 4 flaming horses come tearing down the street, you're not going to be like, well, I wonder if I can run into that. You're going to think more of like, I need to slam on the brakes right now and cause serious injury to everyone behind me.
Yeah, good luck getting that insured.
How are they ever going to catch you for anything? You've got the Caballari chariot.
Well, you're only going 4 horsepower as fast as being demonstrated.
I assume these things can probably fly. Also, they breathe fire. Who's going to do anything about it?
It's a good-
Especially when you're rocking out to bitchin' tunes.
You know what's a sick song? I'm bringing safety back.
Yeah.
You other team don't know how to act.
Basically, the only thing left to do with our chariot, now that it's got a bitchin' sound system, is we need to airbrush a van onto the side of it.
Yeah, absolutely. With like piloted by a man in a mullet with an unshaven face.
Yeah, maybe like a cut-off jean jacket.
Yeah, under which he is wearing some sort of stained muscle shirt.
Yeah. Also, like, his buddy.
Yeah. It's good that his buddy's there.
Yeah.
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 Roll bar.
Oh my god, yeah. We can take it off-road. You ever seen a chariot off-road? We're gonna
No.
get all the chicks.
How would you drive a chariot off-road?
Same way you drive a chariot on-road, behind the horses. They do all the work.
I've seen, or at least am mildly familiar with Ben-Hur, and it looks like those things fall apart when they hit the slightest rock.
Yeah, if they're not forged by a god.
And we have a safety bar if anything goes wrong. We thought about this, and we have a seatbelt.
Okay, fair enough.
What's your stereo gonna do when you get hit in Ben-Hur?
I imagine it's playing the Ben-Hur soundtrack at that point, if you want a specific answer.
That would be pretty cool.
Whereas, what's going to happen here is you're going to have your seat belt. I'll grant you a safety belt, some sort of harness to keep you from falling out the back of your chariot because you don't know how to pilot it. And you're going to have to just ride along in silence or at least the crackling of the horses constantly immolating themselves. You have to listen to that the entire time. That seems kind of depressing in a way.
What are you talking about? That sounds amazing. It sounds better than the throaty roar of a Bugatti Chiron.
You ever go to a campfire and just listen to the fire crinkle? It's like that, constantly, but with like a warm safety blanket of a seatbelt holding you down.
And having to hear the horses grunt while they shit.
They neigh, and it's melodic.
And we can sell that lava.
To who?
Probably one of the other Greek gods. They have a use for that, like, legendary flaming horse poop, I imagine.
Nobody liked Hephaestus. That's why he kept making stuff like this in hopes of picking up Athena. It never worked. He sucked. Nobody liked him.
He was cast out of Mount Olympus for being ugly.
Didn't he end up with Aphrodite?
He did, but she was like not into it.
Just one with the teeny legs.
He was lame.
He was lame, and that's why he made such a bitchin' whip.
I think Hephaestus would have appreciated us, like, just jamming tunes in his chariot.
Until you airbrush the side of his chariot with a reference he wouldn't even get.
I think as a god, he would be perfectly capable of parsing the joke, Serge.
Isn't the chariot on fire?
No, the horses spit fire. And they're not real horses. They're automatons, magical ones that come to life. Because the Greeks believed that, like, statues and stuff could come to life.
Also, they didn't really have the mental capacity to imagine the internal combustion engine, so they just had to be like, what would draw a magical chariot? I don't know, a mechanical horse?
Just sounds rad.
Yeah, it's totally sick. That's why you've got it. That's why it's good news. Isn't it nice that you get something good for once on this show?
Yeah, actually.
It's a rare fucking surprise, I'll give it that.
Holy
Yeah, no, this is
moly.
actually totally awesome. Do you think we could actually just, like, tool around, pick up Athena, and see if she can, like, dead-eye shot some, like, beer cans at top speed with a spear?
If we're not cruising the ground, if we can be like up in the air and just be kind of like, let's like, can you pick that off? Can you pick that off? You know, like,
Yeah.
that'd be a lot of
You
fun.
go to a party, Hercules just starts bench pressing it. He's like, yo, what up?
You could race Mercury.
Yeah, I mean, we'd lose,
Yeah.
but
it'd
it would be fun.
race.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'd get totaled by Jove at the end of it.
But
Yeah.
you wouldn't if you had a seatbelt.
That sounds like hubris.
I don't think there's any way that Athena or Artemis or any of the other really bitchin' hot Greek ladies would be riding in a vehicle with a seatbelt. They'd want to come along with the magical music box and be listening to, you know, the muses that we experience in the modern era.
I don't think they're the reckless type.
Look, Alex, the ancient Greek myths are, you know, they're hard partying and incredibly dangerous. The Greeks were here for a good time, not a long time.
Greek.
So what we've decided on here is that Alex and Serge maybe need to brush up on their classics, but they have a good instinct because while the chariot is divine and mythologically forged, they are not, and head injury is a real consideration. But only one team is going to be blasting, I don't know, like Pink Floyd.
Like, if we're going with the full-on airbrushed van idea here, I think it's, we have to go with Van Halen.
Or do you go like in the court of the Crimson King?
Ooh, yeah. What about, like, King Diamond?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way.
That's also good in a chariot pulled by 4 magical automatons.
I feel like they're trying to play to the judge here by just naming bands that you love in the desperate hope for bonus points.
Oh, I'm not a
Hey.
huge fan of King Diamond. I just think it would be rad blasting from magical chariot.
Or do we go for the meta thing here and play Window Licker?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Okay, 5 points to you guys for wanting to take care of your noggins because you only get one. 5 points for you for naming at least 5 songs I want to hear blasting from a chariot. So we're all tied up, but hey, good news, because much like that chariot, all that's old is new again. You know how the 90s are back in style right now? I ask, hilariously, dating this episode when someone inevitably goes back to binge old episodes of the show because they somehow managed to reach the bottom of YouTube. But anyhow, it's Paris Fashion Week and you're a reporter at Vogue and you are very, very hungover. And you gotta crank out a feature in a hurry. So which do you choose to elevate as the newest fashion trend that we'll all be emulating and buying knockoffs of in H&M? 17th century style powdered wigs or in Sorte Diable period Demu Borger with, you know, like the spikes and the leather and the corpse paint. What are we all gonna be wearing in 2018?
Could you elaborate on the corpse paint?
Like the white face paint with the black designs around the eyes, like classic black metal.
You never listen to black metal?
I say we go with the powdered wigs because Dimmu Borgir sucks.
They do, but they look goofy.
I don't even know who Dimmu Borgir is, but they don't suck.
That's right. Thank you, Alex. What if we made more of a Cradle of Filth? Did like a Danny Filth thing with the fishnets?
Going from the dashboard confessional of black metal all the way to the Backstreet Boys of black metal.
I understood that reference.
I am very not lost.
Hello, Brendan. We are participating in this panel.
I'm definitely part of the music scene.
Black metal is this beautiful code where the t-shirts are illegible unless you know it. It's a secret that only
Yeah.
other fans can read it, and it's like, oh, you too! And you're like, yeah!
Oh, it's Freemasonry for Skids.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Man, I just nuked the whole panel.
You just turned an entire musical genre into one of their own album covers.
I was always into the more like, winter landscape in black and white.
The Opeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Opeth is like the Neil Cicada of black metal. It's the easy listening, right?
Yeah,
Like, that's entry
yeah.
level. No one's going to give you props for having an Opeth t-shirt. They're just going to be like, yeah, I do want like
Yeah.
my soy milk extra hot. Thank you.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I too brushed past Pitchfork in 2007.
Yeah.
Paige, what in the fuck are they talking about?
It's not powdered wigs, I know that much.
All right, how about this? Cameron and Alex swap places because you guys are the most inside, so it'll be maximally annoying, but we'll also get everybody who knows what the hell black metal is on one team, and then the rest of you can talk about wigs.
Tough but fair.
Agreed.
I'll miss you, Alex.
My only fear
Yes?
is that we are going to end up not playing to the judge in some way.
Don't care.
Oh, I don't like black metal. It's okay. So tell me about them wigs.
Aristocracy, decency, wealth, prowess.
If you want to talk about what's making a major comeback right now in terms of 2018, it definitely is unearned aristocracy. And so powdered wigs, I think, are definitely needed at this point to illustrate the difference between the rich and the rest of us.
So one of the reasons corpse paint first came out was disenfranchised children trying to tell people, don't look at me, I'm scary, I want to be rejected. And I think nothing really sums up the millennial generation more than corpse paint.
Also, recent studies have suggested that corpse paint may actually help to defeat facial recognition software. So it has a brand new cyberpunk application.
Ooh, I like that.
If you're wearing a powdered wig, you will look like the 1% and you will not be targeted by facial recognition algorithms anyway.
Or by their elite death squads.
Well, you're the only people with money to advertise to, so I think the facial recognition will be zero or laser targeted at your wigs.
They'll go for the wigs instead of your face and you'll get away scot-free.
So, pro cam, that I know you'll appreciate this, if you're covered in leather and metal spikes, people want to touch you.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like putting out a field that says, you know what, maybe I don't like people.
Isn't fashion about drawing people to your attention?
It's having them look at you and to appreciate what kind of art object you've become in front of them.
As opposed to averting their eyes to an unpleasant scene that doesn't wish to be engaged with.
Yeah, and if I'm writing an article for Vogue or one of those other things that people read in the checkout
Magazines.
line. That magazine, thank you, yeah. If I'm writing an article in that regard, I'm thinking that what I need to do is encourage people to do something that's going to make people look at them. I think a powdered wig, in any sort of style, doesn't even have to be a traditional 17th century kind of weird bob thing, but just a bunch of hair that didn't come from you, covered in a bunch of like talcum powder that is probably not poisonous, is the best way to get someone to look at you and go, holy shit.
So we all know that fashion is cyclical. And we went from like punk into emo, and we just need to channel that sadness straight into goth. And I think it's really going to harness the emotions of an entire generation. I think this is the next logical step.
Yeah, I mean, I would actually just agree with the assessment. I mean, I wouldn't need to be a hungover Vogue columnist at all in order to see that, Dimmu Borgir era corpse paint would be back in fashion. It's exactly what millennials crave.
Hopelessness.
Fashion is about lifting people up to a greater standard of visual appeal, not crushing them underfoot.
Much like Cam has done to Serge.
Yeah, it took about 15 seconds.
I tried really hard to stay positive.
And we've had like 200 years to figure out the French Revolution's problem, which was how to get those big wigs through a guillotine.
Oh, I don't know, Cameron. No one's saying that you have to wear these powdered wigs on your head.
You want to get your dick chopped off?
Don't kink shame me.
So you're advocating for powdered merkins? or a tiny guillotine?
Imagine having to pull your entire sack through.
Stop it! You need to stop! It's time to stop!
You know who never has to worry about anyone manhandling their junk? Dimmu Borgir fans.
I don't know who that is, and that's funny.
We're gonna get angry comments.
What are they gonna do? They listen to Dimmu Borgir. They live in a basement.
Okay, so what we've decided is that Cameron is itching for a fight and would love to hear your opinions on your taste in music. So just reply him on Twitter. He's at Unarmed Oracle. Don't direct your comments to me.
And that we are itching from wearing powdered merkins.
Yes. And that whatever Beige and Alex are talking about is still happening over at their table, and I am not part of it. So I'm going to give everybody that's been on the show today 100 points for all of their great arguments. Who got how many points for the first round?
We did.
Okay, you got some points, and you also got
I
some
thought we
points.
tied.
Oh, so what we've decided on is that there's been a statistical rounding error in this week's scores, which is good because there is no prize. The winner is really more of an academic concept. I think what we've decided on is that nobody here should be in charge of deciding what fashion trends are popular and what music you should listen to. So until next time, this has been The Panelists.